guys, how you doing? Coach Jess Fox here to talk to you about your Road Warriors programming for today. Today is the end of week 3, so it's day 3. Today is our long run day. Before we get there, let's talk about your warm-up. So your warm-up today is going to be 2 rounds of just some basic D rounds to start. So we're going to start 10 each of the following. Hip circles first, so legs nice and wide. Just, as we usually do in classes. I don't know if you could hear that. My hips just popped doing that. So just to start to get the hips loose, 10 in one direction and then 10 in the other. We're then going to take it to leg swings. So we'll go forward and back. You can bring your hand out to the side or out in front for your forward and back. We'll do 10 on one leg and then 10 on the other. And then we're going to go laterally too. So if you're a little unstable, you can definitely grab a wall, grab a tree, because I imagine you guys will be maybe be outside for your warm-up. We're going to go across the body here, 10 in one direction, and then 10 in the other direction. So 10, 10, 10 of those. Then we're going to take it into, from a standing position, go into an alternating toe touch. So now just starting to hinge, warm up your hamstrings a little bit here as we get through this. So try to keep chest up. If you can't touch your toes, absolutely okay. Just go down as far as your flexibility allows. Over time, maybe each rep does get a little bit lower. When we're done with that, we're gonna take it into an alternating lateral lunge. So feet will start together for this. You're gonna step out to one side, sink your hips back, come back to standing, and then you're gonna alternate and go run into my couch, go into the other side, down and back. So as you sink into these lunges, make sure your hip goes back so that your knee isn't shooting forward and you pop up onto your heels, right? So think heel stays flat, sink your hip back, going into your deepest range of motion, 10 alternating each side. And then finally for your warm-up, we've got 1 minute tall plank position. So from the top of your push-up position here, just holding. So starting to get your abs engaged, make sure you're not sinking and collapsing, but also that your hips aren't up high. We're not quite in a downward dog. In this tall plank though, I do encourage you to, you can see from the side, push through your heels to get your calves and quads involved a little bit more here. That just helps to get them ready for the run as well. Instead, normally in our plank, we kind of sink onto our toes, maybe get a little soft through the knees. Try to squeeze your quads and push through your heels so that you're active there. So that's your warm up. 2 rounds through that. That should get you guys pretty good and ready to go. And then for our run today, so we've got our longer run. We're adding a half a mile to what we did last week. So today our total is a 4-mile run. Easy pace, still sticking with nasal breathing today. So you guys know the drill. Close your mouth, just breathe in and out through your nose. If you lose that nasal breathing, then just slow down your pace. If you're still a little bit newer to running, a combination of walk, run is absolutely okay. But the goal is to just try to keep moving for the entire 4 miles. If you don't have a tracker that you're using, then maybe today your target is to run or move continuously for 40 minutes. That's your time target for today. But if not, I know you guys have your trackers, use your trackers to measure out 4 miles today or something a little bit more than what you did last week. To cool down, your cool down, as soon as you're done with your 4 miles or your 40 minutes, take it into a walk, so 3-minute just recovery walk to try to start to slow down your breathing. And then we're going to take it into a couple little mobility and some stretches. First is the world's greatest stretch, which you guys have definitely seen. Back leg is going to stay straight here if you can. If that's challenging, you're just exhausted, totally okay to bring that knee down too. But if you can, keep that back leg straight. Opposite elbow is going to come in towards your, say right elbow towards your right midfoot, and then you're going to rotate and twist out to the side. So going back and forth between those, maybe a couple pass-throughs each side, and then you'll switch legs and do the other side. So that's the first movement of your cool down. Second movement is just going to be this half kneeling hamstring stretch. So here from the side, once you're done with your runner's lunge, you can just bring it into a kneeling position. Other foot is going to be out in front, and then you're gonna sink back and pull that toe towards your face. Now this is can be pretty aggressive, so you might have to do a bent knee, that's okay. But if you're feeling good, maybe over time you work to straighten out that knee, flex that toe towards your face, and then if you're feeling really good, maybe you try to come down and over. Okay to kind of floss back and forth here too between those positions, but what I'd love to see is hip staying stacked over your knee instead of just sinking all the way back here, right? So that might mean that you need to adjust and bring that front foot forward a little bit more so that you can make that happen. Start with chest out here, flex your toe, and then maybe as you're comfortable you can sink down, come forward to ease out, and then come back. So we're focusing on that for your second cool down movement. And then finally your third cool down movement, we're just gonna go through a little spinal flexion and extension and a little cat-cow. So from a hands and knees position, your toes can be, you can untuck your toes, especially if your shoes are off. This will help to stretch out your feet a little bit more too. And then we're just going to kind of scoop up, looking up towards the sky, and then flex through the spine, round through the spine, pull up. Just a little movement back here, again a little spinal flexion and extension. After all that running, you can even kind of go through circles and bump up and around. Find anything that seems a little bit sticky and work through unsticking that. Alrighty guys, that is your work today. I know, with social distancing and all that going on, I encourage you guys to try to avoid the really heavily populated areas. Use the side streets. Prospect Park is only getting busier, unfortunately, because people want to get outside, and I'm still encouraging you guys to get out to exercise, but maybe you're choosing routes that are not quite as populated. Either way, I hope you're getting it done. Finding maybe going earlier or a little bit later in the day. Feel free to post your comments, any questions, any concerns you guys might have onto the blog, and I'll actually be out there running with you guys tomorrow. All right.